The moment Eliza Morgan peered over David's shoulder and saw what was on his screen, her entire perspective shifted. A janitor she'd barely noticed for 3 years had just solved in minutes what her IT department couldn't fix in days. But it wasn't his technical skills that changed her life, it was the email draft he'd minimized when she approached. "Dear Scholarship Committee, I'm writing to inquire about additional financial aid options for my daughter's medical program. If you're moved by stories of hidden talents and second chances, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more life-changing encounters that remind us how extraordinary ordinary people can be." The 53rd floor of Pinnacle Enterprises gleamed under the fluorescent lights as David Chen pushed his cleaning cart through the empty hallways. At 9:30 p.m., the building had emptied of its daytime occupants, all except one. From the corner office at the end of the hall, a frustrated voice carried through the partially open door. "No, that's not acceptable. I need this fixed tonight. The board presentation is tomorrow morning, and everything I need is on that laptop." David slowed his cart, hesitating outside the CEO's office. He'd been working the night shift at Pinnacle for 3 years, ever since his wife's passing had left him the sole provider for their daughter, Lily. In those 3 years, he'd exchanged perhaps 10 words with Eliza Morgan, the company's formidable CEO. Inside the office, Eliza ended her call and slammed her phone down on the desk. Her laptop screen remained frozen, displaying the same error message it had for the past hour. The IT department had remotely tried everything they could think of, but the critical presentation files remained inaccessible. They'd promised to send someone first thing in the morning, but by then it would be too late. David knocked softly on the door frame. "Excuse me, Ms. Morgan. I'm just doing my rounds. Would you like me to come back later?" Eliza looked up, her expression a mixture of frustration and resignation. She barely registered the janitor's presence. "No, it's fine. I'll be here all night anyway, thanks to this useless piece of technology." David hesitated, then ventured, "Computer problems?" "Nothing that concerns you," Eliza replied curtly, then immediately regretted her tone. "I'm sorry. Yes, my laptop crashed, and I can't access the files I need for tomorrow's presentation." David set his cleaning supplies down and approached cautiously. "I used to work in IT before." He trailed off, not wanting to share his personal history. "I might be able to help, if you'd like." Eliza looked skeptical but desperate enough to try anything. "Be my guest," but the entire IT department couldn't fix it remotely. David pulled up a chair and began examining the laptop. His fingers moved deftly across the keyboard, navigating through system menus with practiced ease. Eliza watched in growing amazement as this man, whom she'd barely noticed for years, worked with confident precision. "How do you know all this?" she asked after several minutes of silence. David kept his eyes on the screen. "I have a degree in computer science from MIT. I worked as a systems analyst for 8 years before." Again, he didn't finish the sentence. "Before what?" Eliza found herself genuinely curious. David sighed. "Before my wife got sick. Cancer. She passed away 3 years ago, and I needed a job with flexible hours to take care of our daughter, Lily. She's 14 now." Eliza fell silent, watching as David continued working. The office quieted except for the soft clicking of keys. After about 20 minutes, David hit a final keystroke and the screen came to life, displaying Eliza's desktop. "There you go. It was a corrupted system file that was preventing access to your user profile. I managed to restore a backup and recover your files." He stood up, ready to return to his cart. "Wait," Eliza said, stunned. "You just fixed in 20 minutes what my entire IT department couldn't solve." "How?" David shrugged. "Sometimes you need hands-on access to solve certain problems. They were trying to fix it remotely." As Eliza moved to take her seat, David quickly minimized a browser window he'd opened during the repair process. But Eliza had caught a glimpse, an email draft addressed to a scholarship committee. "What was that?" she asked, pointing to the taskbar. David's face flushed with embarrassment. "I'm sorry. I shouldn't have used your computer for personal matters. I was just checking my email while the system was rebooting." "May I see it?" Eliza asked, her tone softer than David had ever heard it. Reluctantly, David reopened the email draft. It was addressed to the admissions committee at Stanford Medical School, inquiring about additional financial aid options. The letter explained that his daughter Lily had been accepted to their prestigious pre-med program but that the partial scholarship they'd offered wasn't enough. Despite working 2 jobs, as a night janitor and weekend computer repair technician, David couldn't afford the remaining tuition. "Your daughter got into Stanford's pre-med program?" Eliza asked, impressed. David's face transformed with pride. "Yes. She's brilliant, top of her class. She wants to become an oncologist because of her mother." His voice caught. "But I'm afraid I'm going to have to tell her she can't go. The scholarship covers only half the tuition, and even with my second job, I can't make the numbers work." Eliza studied David's face, seeing him truly for the first time. "How long have you been working here, David?" 3 years next month. "And you have a computer science degree from MIT?" David nodded, beginning to feel uncomfortable under her scrutiny. "Why haven't you applied for an IT position here? The starting salary is 3 times what you make as a janitor." David's eyes dropped to the floor. "I applied twice. Your HR department rejected me both times without an interview. 3-year employment gap after my wife got sick. No recent relevant experience. Overqualified for entry-level positions." He recited the rejection reasons from memory. "And I need the night shift to be there for Lily during the day." Eliza leaned back in her chair, a decision forming in her mind. "Can you come to my office tomorrow at 4 p.m.? And bring your daughter?" David looked confused. "I don't start until 8 p.m. "I know. This isn't about your janitorial position." Eliza's expression softened. "Just trust me." The next day, David and Lily arrived at Pinnacle Enterprises dressed in their best clothes. Lily, a poised teenager with her father's intelligent eyes and her mother's gentle smile, clutched her Stanford acceptance letter nervously. "Dad, why are we here? What does the CEO want with us?" David squeezed her hand. "I'm not entirely sure, sweetheart. I helped Ms. Morgan with a computer problem last night." When they entered Eliza's office, they found not only the CEO but also the company's HR director and IT manager waiting for them. "David, Lily, thank you for coming," Eliza greeted them warmly. "First, I want to congratulate you, Lily, on your acceptance to Stanford. That's an incredible achievement." Lily smiled shyly. "Thank you, Ms. Morgan." Eliza turned to David. "After you left last night, I reviewed your personnel file and spoke with several people. I also watched the security footage from the past 3 years." She paused. "Did you know that you've been fixing computers around this building since you started working here?" David looked confused. "I just helped out a few times when I noticed people having trouble." 27 times, to be exact, the IT manager interjected. "We've had reports from various departments about the night janitor who fixes computers. Some of our staff specifically wait to ask you for help rather than submitting IT tickets." David shifted uncomfortably. "I didn't mean to overstep." "You didn't," Eliza interrupted. "You showed initiative and used your skills to help this company, even when we failed to recognize your potential." She slid a folder across the desk. "This is a job offer for a newly created position, night shift IT manager. The hours are 4 p.m. to midnight, which I believe would still allow you to be there for Lily during the day. The salary is more than triple your current one, with full benefits and a tuition assistance program for dependents." David stared at the folder, speechless. There's more, Eliza continued. Pinnacle has a foundation that supports promising students entering medical fields. After reviewing Lily's academic records, the foundation's board, which I chair, has decided to offer her a full scholarship to Stanford. Lily gasped, her eyes filling with tears. Are you serious? Eliza smiled. Completely serious. Your father helped me when I needed it, without hesitation and without expecting anything in return. He's been an invisible asset to this company for years. It's time we recognize that. David's hands trembled as he opened the folder. I don't know what to say. Say yes, Eliza replied simply. And then tell me why a brilliant MIT graduate is working as a janitor instead of pursuing his passion. Over the next hour, David shared his story, how he'd been a rising star at a tech firm before his wife's diagnosis, how he'd left his career to care for her and then their daughter, how the employment gap had made it impossible to return to his field, and how he'd eventually taken any job he could find to provide for Lily. I never regretted it, he said firmly. Lily is everything to me. I would clean floors forever if it meant giving her a chance at her dreams. Eliza nodded, understanding in her eyes. That's exactly why you deserve this opportunity. Not just because of your skills, but because of your character. 6 months later, David stood in the doorway of Lily's dorm room at Stanford, helping her unpack the last of her belongings. His Pinnacle Enterprises ID badge hung around his neck. He'd flown directly from work to help Lily move in. Dad, you've organized my desk 3 times now, Lily laughed. I think it's time for you to go back to your hotel. David smiled, his eyes misty. I just want everything to be perfect for you. It already is, Lily said, hugging him tightly. Because of you. As David walked across the Stanford campus toward his rental car, his phone buzzed with a text from Eliza. How's the move-in going? The IT department is falling apart without you for 2 days. Hurry back. David smiled and typed a reply, Lily's all settled. I'll be back tomorrow. Thank you again for everything. 3 simple words came back, you earned it. David looked back at the dormitory where his daughter was beginning her journey toward becoming the doctor she'd always dreamed of being. He thought about his new office at Pinnacle, where his MIT degree now hung proudly on the wall. And he thought about how one moment, one opportunity to help someone without expecting anything in return, had changed everything. Sometimes, he reflected, it's not about being seen, but about doing what's right even when you think no one is watching. Because sometimes, someone is. If this story touched your heart, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Remember that everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about, and sometimes the most extraordinary people are hiding in plain sight, just waiting for someone to see their true potential. Your support helps us share more stories that remind us of the power of kindness, second chances, and the unexpected ways our lives can change in an instant.